Hello, lovely people. Anyway, hello again, and welcome to your yoga mat on this Monday morning. And we're going to start bringing the hands down to the knees, and there, if we start to use one of the mudras, we'll bring the index finger to the thumb. Now, if you are feeling quite energized or your mind's quite active this morning, then you could bring the palms down if you feel to. But if you want to lift the energy a little bit, palms will face up. So take your pick as to what way you want to go. And then find a comfortable seat. And once you find that seat, allow your eyes to shut. And so with the eyes shut, you can focus in a little bit more on the contact that your body is making with the earth. And feel the weight of the body settling into those points of contact. Almost like you're a part of the earth beneath you. Become aware of the air around you and how that air is holding you all around you, not just to the front where the eyes will obviously see, but to the sides of your body and behind where you can't see. And feeling how the body breathes in that air, takes in air to the body. The air inside, no different from that outside. And for a moment, feeling a sense of flow within your body, in the sense of the blood circulating around your body. You can feel warmth or maybe a coolness in fingertips or toes. Feel the movement in your body like water. And if you guide your awareness down to your belly, there, deep within the body, feeling a sense of warmth as you breathe inside. So feeling the elements within you. The same as those around you in your surroundings. And greeting yourself this morning. How all those elements come together, weaving with consciousness to create this sense of you-ness. And bowing your head down, greeting yourself. And lift up the chin again. And when you're ready to, if you open eyes, stretch out the fingers, resting on the knees. And then hands coming back down to the knees. And we're going to roll the shoulders up and back a couple of times. And just connect to your breath here. And this sense of moving outwards from the body into your surroundings. And from those rolling shoulders, one way, we come the opposite way. So in breath up to the ears and out breath down. And one more. Now, you may want to adjust your feet or your legs into a different seated position here. So if you're cross-legged, you may want to just stretch legs out in front of you. Else you may be happy just carrying on for a breath or so more. We're going to walk hands forward just a little bit. Wherever you feel to walk forward to, you may come down onto the forearms. You may just rest up on the hands. And breathing in, we'll lengthen into your spine. And out breath, we're letting the head drop. And we'll do that 1 or 2 times. Finding length as you breathe in. And relaxing into that length as you breathe out. Last time. And we'll slide the hands back up again. And then, if your knees are still together, now draw them up towards one another. And then, wherever you are, we'll stretch the legs out in front of us. Toes pointing up. And hands by the sides of the waist, by the hips. Lift your heels a fraction, or else, if it's more comfortable, keep the heels down on the mat. In breath, toes away from you. Out breath, toes coming back in. Follow your breath, a few rounds. Keep the shoulders as relaxed as you can here. And really bring attention down to the sensation of toes pointing away. Use it as an anchor, as it were. Next round. And then we'll take the feet a little distance apart from one another. Just shuffle yourself if you need to. Now, drawing circles with the ankles. In breath. And then out breath, toes coming back together. Take a few rounds here with your circles. It becomes very hard actually doing this. It's kind of obviously deceptively easy. But if you try to keep your legs still, so you literally are just localizing the movement in the ankles. And then take your circles the opposite way. And then toes pointing up. Now, before we were moving the whole foot, so now we are literally just moving the toes. In breath, squeeze the toes away. Out breath, toes back in. In breath, away. Out breath, back in. Another round. And one more. So now we're lifting up the knee, hands coming underneath the knee, interlacing fingers, and you're now circling the knee. Really open out the movement within your hip flexor. Big circle out to the side. Now your challenge is, can you keep that left leg as still as you can? You want to put a fancy name in all these little exercises we're doing here. Paramuktasana. That kind of seem to be opening up the joints. They're obviously lovely in this kind of weather when the damp creeps into the atmosphere. And just getting the energy flow through joints in a really gentle way, but quite a profound way, really. And they really do release heat, release stuck energy within the body. Really can make a whole practice out of these. And you will feel at the end of it that you've really stretched and moved, opened up as much as with big expansive movements through the body. So take that circle round the opposite way. Also brilliant for building up concentration. It's quite hard keeping the mind quite steady on whatever part you are moving without getting distracted by all the other things you can get distracted by. Another breath. And we'll take that right leg down onto the other side. Now interlace your fingers the way that doesn't feel familiar, so opposite to what you were just doing. And we'll start to open out into the left hip. And from the rounds of breath that way, we go the opposite way. And then both your feet are coming together. Now take them a little distance apart from the body. So you've got a diamond shape in front of you. Hands can reach down towards the soles of the feet. And you can either interlace fingers over the tops of the feet, else you can bring your thumbs to the soles and prise the soles up towards the ceiling. Now breathing in, lengthen into your spine and put a bit of bend through your elbows. And breathing out, you're just holding that space. Breathe into any sensation arising. Another in-breath. Into your out-breath. Let your breath flow through the sensation. Your mind flow with the breath. And we'll start to hinge back up again into sitting. Knees coming together now. And with knees together, we'll slide the legs out. So legs are now out in front of you, toes flexing back in, draw up into your spine. Big in-breath, right arm will circle out behind you. Arrive into twist, breathing out. Another in-breath, right arm circling over to the left knee. Out-breath, pausing, lifting. Another in-breath, left arm will circle out behind you. Breathe into the twist as you breathe out. In-breath, left arm over. And out-breath, drawing up. One more round. The in breath, lift up and behind. Out breath, ease into your twist. Now in breath, lift up the right arm. Out breath, the right. In breath, left arm back. Out breath into twist. Another in breath. And into your out breath. Hands coming down to your mat now. And make your way onto all fours. And just give yourself a bit of free movement on all fours. Just to open out into the lower spine, into the pelvis. You can move from side to side, or figure of eights, or forwards and backwards, cat and cow. Feel your breath within you, around you. And then we're all kind of reconjoined, arriving in cat and cow with the breath. Let your breath guide you into your curve of the spine, so breathing out. Spine will curve to the ceiling and breathing in. Spine will move between the shoulders. Almost like you're drawing a circle. Breath is very cyclical. And then the body can kind of follow that circling movement. The upward curve to the ceiling. Almost like when you're scooping with the underside of the body to the mat. And arriving back around in the other half of the circle. The out breath. Next round of breath, neutral spine, and we'll just hinge forwards and back on the hands for a breath or so. And over a few rounds of breath, you may want to extend out this movement a little bit. So forwards, you're really coming between the shoulders. And out breath, you'll slowly, gradually find your way back towards heels. In breath, easing forward again. Past shoulders, and out breath, easing back. So keep the movement as small as big as you feel to move this morning. Sense of honouring yourself, honouring your body, honouring the contact with elements within you. It's creating the conditions and the relationship between the mind and the body to allow your energy to flow freely. Arriving back onto all fours. Breath also in neutral, reframing, regrouping. And we'll stretch out then the right leg out behind us. So your toes are tucked under, you're balanced on the ball of the foot. And you want to feel like you're pressing the wall behind you, away from you, with the strength of that right foot. Like knee coming down, and we lift up the left arm out in front of us as we do so. So you're on 3-point balance on all fours. left hand down. Left foot comes out behind you. Anchor in the ball of the foot and then feel you're pressing back the wall behind you. One more round. Left foot coming back down onto all fours. Moment to regroup again, and your right arm will then lift up in front of you. Right hand down. So both toes tucking under now. Bring the knees together here and the feet together, and we'll start to walk our way back towards the heels. You can use your hands as support here to take a bit of body weight off the heels and onto the hands. Else you can bring your hands up to the knees. And once you're there, we'll just take a few very small circles, whether your hands are down or whether your hands are up, onto the heels, into the heels. Take those circles back the other way. Fingers coming around the thumbs, and then opening out the fingers. One more. Breathe out, open the fingers. And then fingers coming down to the mat. Plant your hands really carefully here. Separate out the feet a little bit, so toes and knees are now hips width apart from one another. And work within your capacity now, where you feel to go here. See if you can just lift your knees a fraction off the floor. Now keep easing back into your heels here, a bit like you want to push that wall away from you. Another breath. Takes a lot of strength to just be able to hold the body in this shape, to keep the breath flow steady. If and when you're ready to, we'll sit back. Either coming back to the heels, or else you can come up into high kneeling. So take your pick here, either up on the knees, else arriving back on the heels. Either way, in breath, the arms will float up. Now you want your elbows to ease back behind the head, behind the body, so your chest's open. We'll then interlace the fingers behind the skull. And as if you're drawing a little circle, like a halo, you're taking your arms out behind the skull. Make sure you don't put any strain into your neck here. Now interlace your fingers the opposite way and take your circle back the opposite direction. When you're ready, we'll lift up both arms, soften shoulders, breathe in. And out breath, slowly lowering the arms down and back to the floor. And then if you've been sitting back on the toes, you can breathe a sigh of relief. So you just bring the feet now hips width apart from one another. And again, we're going to lift up the knees a little bit. So a little bit of bend through the knees, and with that bend through the knees, you'll slowly breathing into a down dog. Now your knees will be bent to start with. So you lift your sit bones up, back, and then slowly you can start to ease back into the heels. You may want to take the weight forward a little bit at this point, just to soften everything. And then you can breathe out and start to ease back again into down dog. Arriving here, see if you can lift your toes a little bit so you're balanced on the ball of the feet.
Root them down then. See if you can lift your fingers. You're balanced on the ball of a hand. Ease them down. Another in-breath. And out-breath, the feet will come up towards the hands. And you're folding. So lift up to the fingertips and starting to roll the spine up into standing. And you'll arrive into Tadasana, palms facing forward. Keep the gaze soft. Feel a sense of lift up through the crown of the head. Almost like you're being pulled, the crown of the head is being pulled up and away from the feet. Into the air above you. Now another in-breath. And then I'd like you to breathe down into your feet. Breathe down into the earth. Do that one more time, grounding attention to contact your feet with earth. And then an in-breath, the palms will float up. The gaze can follow, breathe in. And hinging from the waist, palms down the center line, we're going to breathe our way out and into forward fold. The breath to offer your spine forward. Keep the shoulders drawing back, gaze soft. Lift up into your belly, breathe in. And out breath, we're going to arrive back into down dog. If you prefer to come into plank here, then you can find your way forward into plank as well. And then from here, we're going to lower the body down to the mat. So either knees will come down in down dog and you'll lower down and onto the belly. Else breathing out, we'll lower the body down, riding on the belly. Small in-breath, slide your feet back away from you. Another in-breath into cobra. And out-breath. Find your way up onto all fours, toes tucked under, up and back into down dog. Take one more round of breath in. And a final one. And then after an in-breath, easing the heels up, we breathe out and bring the feet up towards hands. In-breath, spine will offer forward. And out-breath, folding. We're starting to float up, anchoring the feet as you lift up. The arms will follow. Breathe in. And out breath, down the center line, you're arriving back and into the heart. Feel your feet again connecting you to the earth. At the same time, feel the lift up through the body, into the skull. Feel your breath in the space between. Big in-breath, arms circling out behind you, gaze up. And out breath, forward folding your way down into Uttanasana. And in breath, offering your spine forward. out breath, find your way into plank or down dog. Give yourself a breath or so here. Really ease back into your heels, whatever version you're doing here. Breathe in and out breath, lowering down to the floor. Either knees down or coming into chaturanga, down to the floor. Take your feet out behind you. Really ease the toes away from you. In breath into cobra. And then we'll either hinge back on all fours to come back to down dog, else toes tucking under, knees lifting, and you're lifting up into a plank and then hinging back. Arriving in down dog, a couple of rounds of breath here. And then walk your feet in a good foot or so forward. Good ruler's work of walking forward with the feet. That will mean your feet are closer to your hands. So judge how close you need your feet to be able to take your left hand, sliding it down the inner edge of your left leg and down towards your right ankle. Sorry, I did that totally wrong. Take your left hand, put it on your right leg. Then slide that hand down the right leg towards your right ankle. You can then lever your gaze out underneath the right armpit. Kind of twisty down dog, holding the right ankle. Left hand comes back to the mat. Right hand lifts up to the inner edge of the left thigh. Slide it down towards the base of the left ankle. And you're taking your gaze out onto the left armpit. Right hand comes back. Both heels high now. Breathe in. And feet coming up to the hands. You're folding. Coming up to rise. Breathe in. And out breath back and into the heart. Reset yourself at the heart. And arriving in chair, big in-breath, sink down low, bend the knees, arms will circle out above you, up above you. Breathe in, turn the gaze up. One more in-breath there. And out breath, the legs will straighten as the hands come down your center line and you're arriving back into forward fold. In breath, offer your spine forward. Out breath, we're going to step the right foot far back out behind us, a big step through the right leg. Now, once you've arrived there, we'll just pause. Again, feel like you're pushing the wall away with that back foot. Really strengthen the back knee, the back leg. Gaze forward, lengthen through the spine. And the right knee will slide down to the floor. Now, once you've got there on the floor, just lift up the knee a fraction, slide it back, and then plant it down again. Then you can either keep the toes tucked under for balance, or else you can come onto the flat of the foot. In breath, lifting up onto the front knee. Make sure the kneecap's not further forward than your ankle. In breath, we reach up with the palms.
Next round of breath. Out breath. Both palms coming down, framing the front foot. Next in breath, the right arm will lift up. You can either take it skywards, else you can take it to the small of the back and encourage the opening in the body, using that hand as a lever. Right hand coming down. Well done. Now, toes tucking under the back foot, lift it up and back. We're going to bend the front knee now, stepping the right foot forward. And as it arrives right foot forward, you're going to swing it out behind us a little bit. So it's going to be a strong back leg. It's lifted off the floor a little bit. Bend your front knee, your left knee, a little bit. Look forward. And then right foot will come to rest with the left foot and you're into a forward fold. Take your elbow points out to the sides in your forward fold. Big in breath, lift up. Breathe in. And out breath, folding down your center line. And you're riding back into Uttanasana. This time stepping the left leg back, take it slowly, a big giant step with the left foot. Once you're there, pausing. Now feel like you're pressing the wall away from you with that back foot. Look forward. Breathe. And then we'll start to lower the back knee down to the floor. Now to open up that line along the quads through the inner left thigh, you lift up your left knee a fraction, slide it back, and then you can keep the toes tucked under, the foot flat. In breath, lifting up onto the back knee and breathing in, the arms will float up. And gaze up. If you find that makes the balance wobble, do keep the gaze level or down to the floor. Hands starting to come forward, framing your front foot. And arriving there, we come then into the side twist. Left arm either to the back of the pelvis, palm down, to open out into the twist. Else you can lift the left arm up. Left hand comes down. Now lift up that back leg again, looking forward. Draw up into the core. Really straighten strengthen the back foot. And we bring it through into Uttanasana. And once you're there, you'll then bend both knees. And you can then take the left leg out behind you again. So you're just lifting it a fraction off the floor with the bent right knee. One more breath. Well done. And left foot coming to join the right. Just ease out into your pelvis a little bit from side to side. And starting to roll your way up into standing, arms floating up. And out breath, arms arriving back and into the heart. Step back to see how the body, the shape of the body, the feeling of the body is different from when it started. set. Reconnecting with that sense of honoring the body. Flow of breath, flow of water, warmth inside, structure. When eyes opening again, and we're bent knees, and we're coming down and back into chair. Take a deep in-breath here. And then find your way down the center line, legs straightening, and into your forward fold. Bit of bend through the knees if you like. Now make sure your knees don't knock in towards one another here. And right leg will lift out behind you. Bit of bend through the left leg. Now that may be enough. It may even be quite enough just to put the foot down and have that sense of lifting it, anchoring the left foot. If your left leg is up, I hope my piano stool's not going to be in the way here. Arms can come out in front of you with the bent back leg, bent front leg. Breath. And then wherever you are, whether the foot stands on the floor or not, take your left hand down in front of your front leg, around a foot or so in front, so another ruler in front, just to the left hand side. Now, doesn't matter if your foot's up or down here, right hand to the right here. Take your gaze out to the right, see if you can bring that right elbow tip up towards the ceiling. Flex your back foot if it's lifted. Right arm will float up. Breathe through any shouting quads on the left leg. One more breath. And right hand coming down. Take the right leg down as well. Feet hips width apart. And you're just easing out side to side of the body. Big in breath, start to ease up into standing. Arms floating up. And out breath. Back and into the heart. Another in breath, arriving back into chair. Breathe in, arms float up. Out breath, starting to arrive down the center line and into a forward fold. And your hands are framing the front foot again. Take a step back with that left foot, just a little bit, and then you can either anchor it there, bit of bend through the front leg, then you've got the choice to either lift the left foot or keep it there. And from there, you can either bring hands up to the hips, else you may want to take hands out in front of you. You can use the wall here at any point. Also use the floor with that back leg. Next round of breath. Bending your front knee so you can bring your right hand down to the floor. Now left hand up to the hip, left hip. See if you can start to point your left elbow point up to the ceiling. Flex your back foot if it's lifted. And then you've got the choice to either lift the left arm up or keep it on the hip. You can do exactly the same here with the left foot down. And we'll take a couple of breaths in half moon. Last breath. Fully, strongly. And left hand coming down. Now once down, we'll step that back foot down if it's lifted. And we'll all find our way back and into down dog. Well done. Take a few figure of eights through the pelvis, one side to the other.
finding your way down to all fours. And from all fours, we'll take a couple of resting breaths, easing back and into child. And then taking your hands down to the floor so you can ease your way up and into sitting, kneeling again. Hands can rest on the knees. Take any other comfortable seated position you'd like to take apart from kneeling. Hands resting on the knees or in the lap. Breathe in and lift your spine. Now holding that lift, breathe out. And feel your roots, your contact with the mat, with the earth. Another in-breath, lifting. And out-breath. Holding that space, feeling the downward flow of the breath. Slowly the rise and the fall of your breath. Knowing however the breath arrives, passes, it's enough. Honoring the flow, your energy, the flow of elements, of the space around you, the universe, into the body. Providing the conditions for your life to flow freely, fully. And eyes open again when you're ready to. And we're going to take the knees and the feet back together, coming back into butterfly. Now, you can either have the feet a little distance apart from the body, it's a little bit softer that way. You can bring them in a little bit to the pelvis. Whatever version you'd like to do, we're going to just encourage how to say, as always, the releasing through the inner thighs. There will be tightness, there will be all sorts of kind of stuff going on there in the hips. So you can either just press down on the inner thighs, the top of the thighs, with your arms and just let them bounce up and down a little bit. You can either use your elbows, a bit like ironing, like you're ironing, rolling out the inner thighs out towards knees. You can just press a hand down on the tops of thighs and turn. That's another useful way to encourage a bit of opening, just bringing your thumbs to the soles of the feet and prise open the soles of the feet like you're opening a book. You'll feel then that naturally it opens out the inner edges of the thighs a little bit more. Your shoulders as relaxed as you can here. Just work with any sensation that's rising up. Breathe your way into it, through it. And then just pausing there for a moment. We'll take a few little circles from the pelvis. Almost like you're rotating the spine at its base. When you've done a few rounds in one direction, you can take those circles back the opposite way. Very good.
The knees coming together, help them up. And we'll slide out the legs out in front of you. Just lift up each knee in turn. Almost like you're walking in sitting. Both knees stretching, sliding away from you, toes flexing up. Big in-breath, reach up with the arms. Lift up as if you're reaching for something above you. Breathe out, relax down. Another in-breath, reach up for something above you. And out-breath, relaxing down into the shoulders. Another in-breath, reach up. And out-breath, letting the spine float forward. And your arms will come to rest wherever they want to come to rest. And wherever that is, put a bit of bend into the elbows, soften out your shoulders a little bit. Make sure you're lengthening out into your neck. Next round of breath. And in breath, we'll slide the hands back up. And arriving with hands slid up, you're coming down onto the spine. Now, once you're there, hugging your knees for a moment into your chest. And then we'll drop the feet down, arms coming out to either sides of the body into a T shape. And letting the knees drop over to the right hand side, your gaze to the left. Take the knees over to the other side, gazing to the right. Now we're either going to do one more round of twist as such. If you want to then if you want to do that crossing the knees, cross the left over the right knee. Keep both knees as closely together as you can. We'll drop them over to the right. And then, whether your legs are crossed or not, we'll take the knees over to the left. Keep the cross the same though. You have got them so. Arriving back to center line. And if you have got the legs crossed, then we'll cross right over left. This time we'll start taking the knees, whether crossed or not, over to the left. And arriving over with the knees to the right. Keep the cross the same if you are crossed. Arriving back up, uncross the knees. And we'll hug the knees into the chest. A little bit of rocking from one side to the other. Then when you're ready to, bringing the feet down towards the floor, hands can come down towards the floor. We'll stretch the right leg up towards the ceiling. We'll take the left leg up to join it. And we're finding our way into Shavasana. If you want that last little bit of core stretch, we can lower the legs down. Otherwise, you can bend the knees and just stretch them out in turn to the mat.
The legs are up, breathing out, slowly lowering feet down towards the floor. And once there, you're arriving in Shavasana. A few moments of rest and breath. If you'd like to stay a bit longer in your Shavasana, do feel free to do so. Become aware of how your body connects to the earth, how its weight settles on the surface of the earth, how it's a part of the earth. How the air is drawn from the atmosphere around you into the body and is released back by the body. Become aware of the flow of blood, fluid within the body. The same flow as that of the rivers, the sea, the rain. Feel the warmth of breath down in the belly. Feel the light within your energy, the flow of energy within you. And setting, honouring all these parts that create a sense of you-ness. Unique on the planet. Starting to move fingers together when you're ready, and your toes, and the head. And when you're ready to move, you then bend knees. Take yourself onto the side of the body, doesn't matter which side.
And give yourself a few resting breaths there. And then you find your way up and into a comfortable seat. Arriving in that seat, hands can just rest on the lap and your eyes can shut. Feeling the completeness, the perfect completeness of the body, of the mind, being you. Bowing the head to the flow of your energy. And bowing to yourself, each other. And closing your practice when you're ready. Thank you.